Oi! Welcome back to another episode of the Muni Lot Report. I am the host, Nabil Habib, with the creator and genius right here, Mike Lewis. And it is week 4.
Week 4, yeah.
Skull Week, Vikings.
Yeah, return to home.
Yeah,
for
Mr.
Stefanski.
And Joe Woods.
Yeah. 14 years Stefanski spent there.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
And we come off a week where it looks like Mr. Joe Woods was watching our show last week.
He heard us, clearly, because, I think he really went in there with some, he had a vengeance, man, because he went in there and, he did exactly, it's not all him, obviously, the players played extremely well, but, like I was harping on last week, was the players just weren't set up for, to win, basically, and they were exactly where I wanted them to be, Right.
It looked like, they were prepared for this week, and they shut down the rookie quarterback, Justin Fields. They didn't open up anything to them. They had no options at all. I do feel that the Bears and Matt Nagy failed Justin Fields by not really doing great on the play calling. Yeah. It looked like a play call, like a game plan for Andy Dalton or Nick Foles rather than for Justin Fields.
Which is a totally different kind of quarterback. And if you can't recognize that, I don't know why you're a head coach in the NFL and why you even selected Justin Fields and not Mac Jones then.
Exactly.
Right? If you want that kind of quarterback, then you should have got that kind of quarterback.
Exactly.
And I saw, Dan Orlovsky's calling for, he's like, you should be fired or resign. I think that's a little too harsh, but we'll see.
Yeah, but you go out there and you only put out 47 yards of total offense and only one net passing yard for the whole entire game. You don't deserve a job.
Yeah, point exactly. Yeah, I think he's clearly been struggling. This is his second quarterback that he's actually drafted, and I think he totally failed with Mitchell Trubisky. I think Mitchell Trubisky is a starting quarterback in the NFL. No, probably not.
No.
But also he probably should have been drafted that high. But I think Justin Fields has so much potential. I think he is an actual good quarterback that does deserve to start. But then again, it's another Ohio State quarterback that could just be a complete bomb. We'll see. Yeah. It's happened time and time again. Name an Ohio State quarterback that's made in the NFL. I have to go back sometime, huh?
Yeah, that hasn't been.
I couldn't name you one.
Yeah. At least in our
Troy Smith. He went to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think he was like a third-string quarterback. Didn't do nothing.
Then I don't know what happened.
I have no idea.
Yeah. But once again...
Terrell Pryor was a tight end.
Yeah. They had him at quarterback and... go play receiver now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it was an excellent performance for, the Browns defense. They went out there, had 9 sacks. Completely shut down everything on the defensive side of the ball. Myles Garrett with an elite performance.
4.5 sacks.
Now leads the league with 5.5 sacks. Broke a team franchise record. You saw a couple sacks from the new guys and Jadeveon Clowney. Tech McKinley had one. Malik Jackson got in on a half of one.
As we were talking before we started filming was, if we just listed everyone that had a good game, we would name all 11 because, everyone played great. It was constant pressure. I felt that, our secondary didn't have to work all that much. But I will say, JOK had a stellar performance. I would say is as good as Myles Garrett's performance.
Yeah, exactly. For a rookie coming out and getting as many snaps as he did, he was damn near perfect.
He was rated the highest linebacker in the entire NFL this past weekend, which kind of like is making me question how many he should get more snaps.
Exactly. And once again, he came on this week's depth chart as a backup to Mac Wilson. Yeah. But when that comes out, that doesn't necessarily mean, okay, he's not, just because he's not on the depth chart as a starter doesn't mean he's going to start, because he was in the game a lot last week. And in his particular case, you can kind of do a lot with him. But right now they want to, keep it compact and simple where he can eventually have that bigger role. We all want to see more of him. We definitely do. And he's shown that he can handle it. And I'm sure we're going to see more of him next week and this week and so on. But, you got to give him the game, in pieces where, you have so many pieces on this defense that can do a lot of different things and these different packages. Like, we're not going to have Malcolm Smith on that pass coverage or Taki out covering passes. We want those guys out there on running downs.
Yeah. I think that's where, such a big thing with Andrew Berry and Stefanski and their analytics really shows them that. And I think that's why they're really starting to kind of like, hey, let's, integrate this a little bit more in our defense. And I think you're starting to see kind of like the players that are actually being purposed for how they should be used. And I think that's going to be a really nice key feature to doing that. Because, yeah, like you said, I don't want Malcolm Smith, covering a tight end. Right. Especially downfield. I feel like that's going to be an impossible task. Exactly. As with JOK is such a smaller linebacker that, really can go end to end, sideline to sideline. And, be disruptive in the running game and the passing game. And he's the ultimate hybrid player for us.
Exactly. A good play to, point out, that really showed this guy can definitely play in the NFL. And he's very good at playing sideline to sideline. It was on the first drive for the Bears. They ran that little toss to the left, and if you go back and watch that play, he comes from cross field, flips in, bumps in to the outside, and covers the edge, and shuts down the play 3 yards behind. It was on a 3rd down and 1, and forced them to punt. I believe it was a punt. Maybe it wasn't the first drive. It was definitely.
I do know what play you're talking about, and it's kind of like he was in the huddle with them. You know what I mean?
He knew the play.
Yeah, he did. He just I think it popped into his head, and he just knew it. And I think it was kind of awesome to see because I was watching him because every time I see 28 out there, I kind of all right, let's see what he's gonna do. And dude, he sniffed that out, man. He really knew it.
It really looked like he knew the plays, and he was breaking up. I think he had 4 or 5 pass breakups. He had a sack. He had 10 tackles.
It's incredible. For a rookie?
Yeah, he was.
Let alone just a normal starter in the NFL.
Yeah, he was all over the place on Sunday. Hopefully we can see a little more of that. As far as another rookie goes on the defensive side of the ball, Greg Newsom, once again, having another great performance.
Great game.
But he leaves, leaves us this week. He's out with an injury, with a calf injury.
Yep.
But we get to see another familiar face that we haven't really seen much of in Greedy Williams. He can come out and prove himself. He hasn't got many snaps this year. Whenever you did see him out there, I've seen nothing but good plays from him. A couple pass breakups, but really it hasn't been that much.
Nothing to really stand out with, especially when you're watching for all these guys that are having awesome games or, kind of being disruptive. It's kind of hard and being overlooked, but I think he's got to be, definitely, this week is going to be, kind of looked at a ton more because he's going to be starting, especially against Thielen or Jefferson. Those guys are awesome. So, we will really see how he does and how he performs because this is a week to prove it. Mm-hmm. Especially, after losing the starting job, I think, this is really his week to prove it. Hey, I can actually do this, and I can do it at a high level. It's make or break because if he does terrible, I don't know. What do you do?
One game's one game. You want to move on to the next one.
Yeah, but if it's that one game that you're starting,
exactly. But you play 17 games for a reason.
Yeah.
One game's, never going to be the same as the last one. or the next one. You know, the best play in football is the next play. So, you know, he can go out there and have a bad game, but I'm sure he'll be able to bounce back the next week or whatever.
But the opportunity might not be.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
You know, say Greg's like, hey, I'm 100%, I'm ready to go, and you're back on the bench. You know, we'll bring you in when you need you, but.
Exactly. So, I mean, we're definitely going to miss Greg Newsom this week, but I feel like Greedy can step in this week and play, you know, a big-time role and get himself back into the rotation.
And something we haven't talked about yet is the offense. Offense looked good. I wouldn't say great. I think Baker had a good game, not a great game, but I mean, we won a game. Doesn't matter. But I think our run game is phenomenal as usual. But Kareem Hunt was the standout piece, in my opinion. Was the complete standout piece because he looked great, and Odell Beckham was back, and he looked pretty awesome too. He looked fresh. He looked like he wanted to play. He didn't care about anything but getting that ball. You know what I mean? Even on that deep pass where it was out of bounds, he worked for that ball even though he knew he was out of bounds. You know, he was clearly out of bounds. But man, his hands were sticky, dude. Like that slant route, you know, over the middle. I mean, he just reached out like a full body length and caught that thing and just pulled it in. It was incredible. I mean, that's a special player that I think really this past week people saw.
All right. I like to start with Baker. I think by far this was probably his worst game of the year so far.
But still a good game.
You know, he got sacked 5 times on top of 4 QB pressures. Like, I mean, he was running around. Yeah, he held the ball a lot, but the offensive line did struggle against the pass rush.
I think his injury was a big issue with that. I mean, he was in and out of the game.
Yeah, I really feel like he wasn't on the same page with the rest of the offensive line. You know, they missed the snap count.
And we had a handful of penalties.
Exactly.
J.C. Treader had a handful.
Oh, yeah.
In particular.
Jack Conklin had a bunch. Joe Bitonio had a bunch. But, I mean, that's what's going to happen when you go up against a powerhouse defensive line like the Bears have. We were lucky that we were able to put up the amount of yardage and points that we did against a defense like that. Like, God forbid if they had a high-powered offense. Like, it would have been a shootout. You know, we were able to, you know, sneak some points out, but at the same time, I feel like the play calling wasn't there, or Baker's accuracy wasn't there, or the gaps were just not there. Chubb had a hard time getting into the game. It's not entirely his fault, but it just seemed like a lot of the time the running game is nothing but rhythm.
Yeah.
And when that rhythm's not there, you know, it takes time to get it going.
But when it got going,
it
got going.
Well, once they brought Kareem Hunt in, which, you know, I can agree, he was the star of the offense. He brought the energy, and like once they brought him into the game, it looked like, okay, they're about to open the door and pour it on them now. Like, you know, not only having over 100 yards in rushing, you had almost 100 yards in receiving, which you look at that 2-minute drill, they were dumping it off to Kareem Hunt all the way down the field. Little checkdowns, but it was getting them 10 yards every single time. Running little screens here and there, 10 yards every time. And, you know, that's the great thing about having 2 running backs like we do. You can do a little bit of everything. You can show different looks. And I think that's what makes our offense pretty damn good.
Yeah, dynamic.
Yeah, you can show, you got so many different athletes out there that can do so many different things.
There's so many different ways too. Like they're so athletic in their own certain pocket, you know? I mean, like OBJ is so different from Kareem, obviously. But like Felton's different from Chubb, and Chubb's different from Kareem. You know what I mean? Like they're all just unique in their own way, and I think that's why it's gonna be tough for people to kind of like, you know, get used to them. Even if they planned for them, I think it's gonna be tough to get used to them.
All right. You know, just being able to complement each other like that. One man's down the one game, the other man can go with the hot hand. And that's what happened. And it wasn't like Nick Chubb had an amateur day. He had 80 yards rushing. That's still pretty damn good.
So when it clicked because it took the first quarter was a little bit rough. 2 missed fourth downs that we could not get, could not do. But hey, we pulled it off, and once everything started to click, it really started to click. Outside of the quarterback pressures, with our offensive line, we looked really good. And I think. Is a difference from last week is where we had a nice defense that we were going against and a lackluster offense. This week, it's going to be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
As with the offense of the Vikings, you can say whatever you want about Kirk Cousins. I think he's a very reliable quarterback that puts up good numbers. He might not be the most athletic quarterback that can just run 50, 60 yards like Lamar Jackson, but the dude can throw. And he's got really good targets out there with him. On top of, they said they have 2 really good running backs as well, similar to us. Not as good, but good. So, I think that offense is going to be tough for our defense, but I think our offense is going to be way more tougher than that's going to be for their defense, because their defense has been struggling.
It sounds like you're asking for a Cowtail's key to the game.
Cowtail's key to the game. Shout out Dude Lewis, by the way. Dude Lewis.
All right. Once again, run the ball. Like I said last week, pound it down their throats.
Jam it down there.
Jam it down there. Whatever way you got to put it down there, you run the ball. You run the ball hard.
Yeah.
The Vikings defense, they have a great pass rush. They can get to the quarterback. But they can't get to the quarterback if you're running the ball.
You hand it off.
Yeah, they've been giving up almost 120 yards a game, and they've faced teams that are not exactly run heavy teams like the Bengals or the Seahawks.
It was 6.7 yards per carry.
Yeah,
by
Chris Carson 80 yards rushing and a touchdown. They're taking. A lot of bumps and bruises.
So imagine if you had 2 Chris Carsons on steroids.
Yeah.
Not actually on steroids. NFL, don't test our boys.
Yeah.
But.
And they're giving up about 450 yards of total offense. And almost like a down day for Russell Wilson. He still threw for almost 300 yards and a touchdown. And, it almost seemed like DK Metcalf was open the whole entire game last week for them.
And that's why I think this week's going to be really awesome for Odell.
Yeah.
All the deniers or all the people, I think this week's going to be another really good week to see that Odell Beckham is 100% needed. Because downfield, they struggled. Really struggled. So we'll see how this works. I think our run game and the deep ball is going to be a huge factor.
And another Cowtail's key to the game.
2 Cowtails.
Okay. Keep Baker off the ground. We struggled last week with, pass protection. And this Vikings defense is defensive line and pass rush is no joke. You got Daniel Hunter. You bring back Anthony Barr, who looks like who's going to be ready to go. You have Sheldon Richardson, the former Brown.
Wow.
You got Michael Pierce, who's one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
I forgot he went there. I was thinking of Larry Ogunjobi, which went to the Bengals. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of him. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I like Sheldon.
Everson Griffin's back with the Vikings. So you got guys that can get to the quarterback. They're playmakers. And that's what they're going to do. But we got to be able to keep that pocket, keep Baker up on his feet. If there's no pressure on Baker, he should be able to do almost whatever he wants against this Minnesota defense.
Yeah, he should really be able to pick it apart.
Yeah. So being able to keep Baker on his feet and keep that ground game going, those are 2 keys that can get this Browns team a dub this week in Minnesota. I'm going to hop back to the defense of the ball. My last Cowtail's key to the game.
Third Cowtail.
Yeah. Third Cowtail. They're $1 a pop, so I mean, you might as well, you know.
Give me a local Speedway.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, Cowtail. What
Come on, Cowtails. You know you're watching.
Imagine the PR team at Cowtails. Probably have like 2 people.
Oh, they're fucking loving this shit.
They got like 2 people in their marketing department or something. How small do you think Cowtails is? I mean, they got to be just like a factory, right?
Yeah.
It's like a small factory offices.
I'm a good dog on Cowtails. I love Cowtails.
I love
They're
Cowtails
my
too,
favorite.
but not a lot of people like Cowtails. So, I mean, you don't think Cowtails is as big as like a Snickers factory. You know what I mean?
Man, forget Snickers. Ain't
Like
no
what?
ain't no Cowtail.
But when's the last time you saw a Cowtails commercial? Never.
I don't think I've ever seen a Cowtails commercial.
That's what I'm saying. It's a way smaller company.
They're so good they don't even have to promote themselves.
Yeah, but like Twix is the same way, and they promote themselves, and I think they're better than Cowtails.
Nah.
You don't think Twix is better than Cowtails?
Nah,
oh, dude.
Cowtails set the market for anything caramel.
All right, I agree.
They don't. It's like what Nick Chubb says when he scores a touchdown. You act like you've been there before. That's what Cowtails does. They don't even gotta promote themselves because they, like, if you had a Cowtail before, you know, like they're Cowtails. No. We ain't gotta talk about the hype. We know they're good.
Shout out Cowtails.
We know they're good. Shout out Cowtails.
All right.
And our third and final Cowtails key to the game is pressure Kirk Cousins. He struggles with pressure. You saw it in Cincinnati. They got after him there. They got after him in Arizona, and he really had trouble. He's the facilitator of that offense. You know, they can run the ball, they can throw the ball, but if they can't get that ball out and get it to the right spots, like where you want to get it downfield to Justin Jefferson or get it across the middle Thielen, or even dump it off in the screen to Cook, you know, you can shut that all down by just getting to the quarterback. And I feel like this week, you go up against another offensive line that struggled. And it's almost similar problem as the Chicago Bears, where that interior is going to see a lot of Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney this week.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's going to be a similar kind of like ordeal. I mean, if the defense keeps going, I really think they're going to struggle. No matter what team you are, I think they're going to struggle with those guys coming at you, and that, you know, that surprise, you know, Grant Delpit, or that surprise JOK that's going to charge in at you when you're so worried about these other guys. I mean, I feel like gaps are going to keep opening up.
All right. Well, we head to Minnesota in the Dome on the road. Homecoming for Stefanski. I do not feel very good about this game. Just because all the things they can do offensively, you know, it's kind of hard to get things going in the Dome. You know, we haven't really... It's still that getting used to being in those loud crowds. And it's different playing outside than inside, because inside it gets really loud.
Yeah, we don't play all that much inside.
Exactly. You know, if Dalvin Cook's a go this Sunday, that could be a big-time problem for us. That's just another dude that can go out there and make plays. And whether can we keep Baker on his feet is another, you know, question going into this game. You know, it's one of the better offensive lines in the league, but, you know, it seems like Baker's getting sacked a lot. He's been sacked 9 times to 3 games. He's only got sacked, you know, only about 10 times last year, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So I hate to be the person that do it. I'm out of homer this week. I'm taking Minnesota 21-20.
Oof. 21-20?
21-20.
Wow. I think it's going to come down to Stefanski in my prediction here. So I think being there for so long, I think he knows them and they know him. But I don't think they know him as a head coach. So I think he's going to pull out. I think they're going to really get creative and show, hey, this is what I've had, you know, in my back pocket this entire time I was there. I'm really going to flex on him right now. But so I think the knowledge between them are going to be so, you know, so tight. I think it's gonna be hard for them to like start to. It's kind of like it's kind of like when you're practicing your own team, and it's like you know what that like person on the other side is gonna do, so you kind of play them a little bit differently, just because. I mean, even if they're not as good as you, they're still gonna block you. You had that.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
They know the play.
Yeah, exactly.
Same schemes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's kind of be a similar thing, but I think Stefanski's going to flex, and I think he's a way better coach. So I think Stefanski and the Browns are going to win this week. But I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I think both offenses are going to have a good week. I think our defense is just going to be better than their defense. I think that's what's going to break down to. But I think it's going to be a heavy score here. I think it'll be 42-38. I think it's going to be a tough week, but I think we're going to pull it out. I do think our offense is better, and I think our defense is better. But I think it's just like, I mean, if I'm giving the Browns a 9, they're like 8.5. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a tough week. But I think we're going to pull it out. I think we're going to win. So that's my prediction.
All right.
That's week 4.
That's week 4. And once again, thank you for watching our 4th episode of the Muni Report. We'll be back with you next week.
Next
All
week.
Right.
Yeah.
Go Browns.
Go Brownies.
Go Browns.
What is that?
I know, just some kind of music that cuts off.
I couldn't tell if you were trying to do ESPN or not.
Oh, yeah, I guess that was ESPN.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. It was a little bit off, and I was just like...
That's like...
maybe he's doing ESPN.
I know how to do the NFL primetime.
What is it? Okay.
No, I can't.
You can't do it. You just said you could do it.
I just need to hear it once, and I can do the rest off.
All right.
Watch.
All right, let's listen to it.
Goodbye.
Don't you just love ads?
I hate YouTube ads. You remember when YouTube didn't have ads?
Hip hop.
Now they're doing like 3 ads every time.
Los Angeles is a movie.
Like you start off with 2, and then you get one in the middle.
Yeah, dude, that's so annoying, right? This is it? Okay.
Okay, this is
the one you're going for?
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the Goosebumps theme song a little bit. Play the Goosebumps theme song. It reminds me of the Goosebumps just a little bit. Listen to it. Like that little like da-da-da-da. Watch. Listen. You'll like da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
A little bit of a Goosebumps.
You like those movies?
The new
With
ones?
Jack Black?
I haven't watched them.
Dude, they're pretty good.
Really?
I like them.
Check it out, man. I haven't seen those, but I mean, I love Jack Black, so.
Yeah, you put Jack Black. You see, they're having them play Bowser.
Dude, yeah. You see Chris Pratt
Yeah.
as Mario? What the fuck?
I honestly would rather see what's his name as Mario.
Charlie Day?
Yeah.
I could see that way more. Oh, dude, Charlie would be way better. But Luigi? I don't know.
I also think he'd be. I think they got a good cast.
They casted Peach really well, but also Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Let's be real. Is that gonna be the worst casting of all time though?
No, I feel like that's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Dude. Oh, I'm so stoned. I'm throwing fucking crates at things. I'm throwing barrels at people.
You know who I think is the best cast in that movie?
Huh.
Is fucking Keaton.
As Toad? No, dude.
It's just gonna be funny.
That's gonna be hilarious. Yeah.
I'm so hyped for that.
That's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, It also would have been funny if they did Danny DeVito as Toad.
Oh, that'd be great. Danny DeVito's Mario. How weird would that be? I mean, the size would be hilarious.
Like, who else is it? I know there's a lot more people in that movie, too.
Yeah, they actually have a stacked cast. But I love, they're like, Chris Pratt is Mario because he's so cool. I'm like, it's stupid. Yeah, that's me.
Charlie Day is Luigi. That should be fun still.
I love Charlie Day. I feel like Charlie Day would be like actually fun to hang out with too, you know.
Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong.
That's the gray one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Diddy in it all?
That's what I'm looking for.
Diddy, played by Louis C.K.
Damn.
Does anyone play? Dude, I feel like Danny DeVito would be great as Wario. Wouldn't he be great as Wario though? Danny DeVito, because he's short and fat.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
You know, I think Wario's gonna be in this movie though.
Dude, have you seen that thing with Fantastic Four where it's just like, the cast of It's Always Sunny should play them?
Yeah.
You've seen it? It's like perfect.
Honestly, I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, I'll try to find this for you. It's like, it's so perfect, dude. I think Tyler shared it with me on Facebook like a long time ago. Let me find it. Here it is. Look. How great would that be?
Oh.
Dude. Dude. Isn't that not perfect cast?
That shit would be funny.
Dude, that's a fucking perfect cast. It aligns with them perfectly. You telling me, dude, Danny DeVito is the thing? Dude, it'd be absolutely perfect. Because it's the only way you can go with Fantastic Four. Because it's like shit movie. You know what I mean? The only way you can actually make it good is just take it as a joke. Cast those guys.
They have been fucking up Fantastic Four.
Terrible, dude. That one in 2015 was awful.
I like the one when we were younger.
The first one was good.
Yeah.
The Silver Surfer was weird. I didn't like.
I'd like the Silver Surfer.
Really?
And they well, not like the movie, but the character.
The character's dope. The movie's bad. Because I mean, like they start off.
They're supposed to do a whole Silver Surfer movie
after that.
Yeah, they need to.
Well,
because he's a fucking goat.
It's only 15 years too late. When the movie come out, 2008 or maybe 2008.
Yeah, they fucked that shit up bad.
Yeah, they didn't do it well.
Like
I thought the casting was good too. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I'm curious how. Let's see. What's the next one that's coming out? Spider-Man.
I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be dope.
And then the new Venom comes out tomorrow.
Dude,
right?
I just watched the. I've seen it before, but I watched the first Venom. Just to get prepared for this one, because Carnage is my all-time. Because, all right, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time. Batman is like right underneath, but Spider-Man's like my fucking favorite. And Carnage is my favorite villain. I don't know how I feel about what's his name playing Carnage though.
Oh, really?
I'm blanking on his name right now, dude.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. I don't know how I feel about him playing
I feel like he's gonna do a good job.
I just don't see him as Carnage though. As a fan of Carnage, I don't see him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like Woody Harrelson with hair also is weird to me.
Yeah. And long hair of that.
Yeah, dude. But also, I'm so excited for is Spider-Man 2 PS5 is going to be incredible, dude. Oh my god, with Venom at the end.
I'm gonna have to get a PS5.
Dude, you know it's so weird. I got my PS5 like the week it came out on a luck of a draw, dude. I was working from home at the time, like early in the morning, and I put my Chrome browser. I got an extension on my Chrome browser. And I just did like an auto refresh, and I went to the PS5 or the PlayStation store, and it would just refresh. I said that every 15 seconds, and then like an hour and a half later, it booted me into the queue, And then like 5 minutes after I was in the queue, it took me to checkout. I bought it. It was crazy.
Damn.
It happened. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And then 2 days later, I had a PS5, and I'm like, okay, do I sell this thing or keep it? But I got Miles Morales with it, and I'm like, well, I gotta fucking play Miles Morales.
Yeah, and then rest is history, huh?
Yeah, and I bought, I actually bought the deluxe. So I actually got the original Spider-Man PS4 remastered for PS5. Did you see that they actually redid the face of Peter?
No.
They completely changed. They got a new. So they got a new when they're remaking the game. They got a new face for Peter, completely new face. You play the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll show you.
I mean, I haven't played it since it came out. That was a very good ass game. I had so much fun playing that.
It's one of the best games of all time.
Think we should run tests tomorrow?
Isn't that weird?
What the fuck?
Completely.
Man, that's it. I'm calling Spider-Man games. I find it legit bad, like
Doc
poorly
Ock.
made. I get high school.
I didn't like him from the
I'm
beginning.
sorry,
I could tell he was
I
a...
don't see it any other way.
Doc Ock?
And
Yeah.
again,
Isn't that
I
weird though,
find
dude?
it legitimately distracting.
The game looks
Like,
better though on
it's
PS5,
fun
obviously.
to meme on and make fun of, but every time one of these cutscenes takes place that has Peter Parker's face exposed, I'm totally taken out of the experience.
But also, doesn't he look way younger? The other guy, because he's like an older Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, like mid-20s.
He looks like he's a teenager.
But he's dating Mary Jane, or talks to Mary Jane, and like Mary Jane looks like she's like 26.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's like 16. It's
Yeah.
weird, right? I don't like it.
It's fucking weird.
But that's how he looks in... Yeah. That's how he looks in the new Spider-Man game. In Miles Morales. And from basically here on.
Oh, they announced the halftime show for the Super Bowl.
Snoop Dogg?
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick.
Hey, dude, that's actually awesome.
That's going to be a great halftime show.
That's a great halftime.
The Browns better be in that fucking bitch then.
Dude, Sophia was looking at tickets, dude. Tickets start at $5,000.
I'd rather watch it at home. If the Browns are in the Super Bowl, I'd rather watch it at home.
But at SoFi Stadium.
I don't care.
I spent a day in LA.